supporting the downtown extension of Caltrain. And this is a project that's been 30 years in the making, and we believe that it should be completed quickly so that we can have those trains from the peninsula coming to the downtown terminal by perhaps 2022. Now, we're calling upon the political leaders in San Francisco, the peninsula, and the East Bay to rally around this project and to push for its full funding and full completion at the earliest possible time.
I worked on the campaign in 1999 called Proposition H that made it a city priority to bring Caltrain downtown. This Caltrain downtown extension is even more important than it was in 1999 when nearly 80% of the voters in San Francisco said this should be one of the highest transportation priorities in the city. It's important because we have an environmental crisis that's getting worse. We also have a livability crisis in this region that is getting worse. Caltrain is an answer to that. Downtown is booming, and it is putting a tremendous strain on the transportation system that serves downtown. We are coasting on transit investments that the people of the Bay Area wisely made in the 1970s, BART and Muni Metro. So this extension provides a transportation solution for that peninsula commute, connecting the region's two biggest cities, San Francisco, San Jose, to the airports and all the cities in between. It also provides a very important solution to the East Bay commute, where we're having a lot of those capacity problems. So this is the smartest single transportation investment we as a region can make. I'm hoping that MTC, the Board of Supervisors, all of the other players, and there's a great many who make decisions about transportation funding, take the will of San Francisco's voters to heart. Keep this one of the region's and the city's top transportation priorities, and let's get this extension built. Thank you.
For the past 20 years, TRANSDEF has been part of a coalition of activists that fought to protect the Trans-Bay Terminal from various mayors' proposals to replace it with a sports arena. We had a vision of an integrated regional transit network that connects all the major transit systems of the Bay Area. And that was long before high-speed rail was even discussed. Now, as the terminal is actually being replaced by the Trans-Bay Transit Center, our vision is being realized. This regional hub will greatly facilitate travel by transit throughout the region. Transit is a key strategy for improving mobility while reducing the climate change impacts of transportation. The only piece that is missing from our vision is the link to the peninsula. Almost 300,000 peninsula cars drive into San Francisco every day. The downtown extension will make it convenient for many of those drivers to commute via train. That will reduce the climate change impacts of the commute and make for a more pleasant commute. The new connectivity will be good for San Francisco. The DTX is the most important Bay Area transit improvement to come along since the original BART program in the 1960s. It will carry a tremendous number of peninsulas directly into downtown San Francisco. It's environmentally cleared and ready to go into final design. All that's needed is having the political class of San Francisco step forward and insist on making it a regional priority. We ask them to do so. We've waited long enough. Thank you.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Paul Dyson from the Rail Passengers Association of California, or RailPAC. You know, we've been getting a free ride on the old 19th and early 20th century rail routes, but finally we're reaching capacity, and the inadequacies of those old systems are being seen every day. Specifically, the Caltrain system. Why in 2015 are we still using 1960s designed diesel commuter trains to get almost to where we want to go in San Francisco? Isn't it about time that we got to downtown San Francisco? And isn't it about time we got there with modern, pollution-free, fast, the electric trains instead of diesel clunkers that we're using at the moment. Let's get behind this project. Let's get our politicians behind this project.
Morning, folks. At 8:11 with Friends of Caltrain. Friends of Caltrain is a nonprofit with over 4,000 participants, and we agree with the other speakers who are talking about how essential it is to complete the downtown extension. So this helps people from the Peninsula and South Bay get to work in San Francisco, and to Pride, and to Giants, and all the attractions of San Francisco. It helps San Franciscans get down to their jobs in Silicon Valley. It's essential for the high-speed rail project, and therefore it's essential to have the project funding nailed down and the project completed as soon as possible. And one more critical thing about the downtown extension project: the ridership when the downtown extension project is going to continue to go up. Caltrain ridership has more than doubled over the last decade. It's the fastest growing transit service in the Bay Area, and that ridership is expected to continue to grow. So it's going to be essential for San Francisco and the region and the rest of the line to contribute to improvements, to carry those riders, to increase the capacity, to be able to double the capacity over the next decade.
We want Caltrain to accelerate the design and planning for the extension. And then we want San Francisco to find and earmark funds so they pay their share, not only for the extension, but also their share down in the peninsula. It's too much to ask someone to make 2 transfers in order to get to a train. It'll be much better, more people will use it when you have to go directly to the Caltrain station. It's time to get the Caltrain back on the track and running.
The transit riders are primarily identified with improving Muni, but we also feel very strongly that in order to have a thriving local system for riders, we also need a thriving regional system. Caltrain extended to downtown is extremely important to San Francisco and to its riders and to the region, as is creating and extending high-speed rail into downtown. When the Central Subway was funded, it was agreed by the city and the region that the next major project to receive funds and the commitment to construction should be the downtown extension. Now is that time. Now is the time to get this project built. We call on the city and the region to see that this project is funded and moved into construction without significant delay.
TRAC is a rail advocacy group that promotes regional and statewide rail service in California. San Francisco has been waiting for 100 years to get the Peninsula commuter service into downtown. Today, TRAC believes that this project will do more to increase rail ridership in California than any other current project. So we advocate that it be completed without further delays and not be held up for various developer projects which could take decades.
DTX will alleviate traffic gridlock and pollution because a projected 320,000 daily car trips will be coming into the city from the Southern Peninsula, more than the car trips on the Golden Gate Bridge and the Bay Bridge combined. We need a transit hub that unites all the regional transit modes in one place. Let's accelerate TDX and a regional hub. Let's not delay the project any longer.
My name is George Wooding. With the Coalition of San Francisco Neighborhoods, we represent over 40 neighborhood groups in the city, and we voted unanimously to keep the DTX or have Caltrain go all the way to the Transbay terminal.
Even in the 90s, there were issues with the priority, whether Caltrain downtown extension was important enough. And you know, if the advocacy isn't strong, you're going to get lost in the game. Some other projects are going to get bumped up, and it has been done again and again. And back in '99, the passage of Proposition H turned the game around. The establishment of a TJPA helped ensure that there's an agency that will lead the project all the way. And since '99, not not only the project has secured funding to build the terminal, it has also environmentally cleared the project, the tunnel segment and the terminal segment, and now the project is underway with the money to get the train box built. So we're almost there. So what we need is the city's continued commitment to build the tunnel all the way.
The Mission Bay Alliance is a coalition of Mission Bay Hospital employees, nurses, neighbors, and San Francisco residents. And today we are calling on the mayor to be transparent about the motives behind a sudden change of tune, even after voters overwhelmingly approved the DTX extension. Today we stand in solidarity with the coalition of SF neighborhoods, the DTX Coalition, the Sierra Club, SF Tomorrow, and many others.
The Bay Area Transportation Working Group has been around for about 3 years, and along with other groups, many of whom are here, we are working very hard to improve the transportation balance of the Bay Area from being totally dominated by automobiles to finding better ways of getting around. Caltrain is a 78-mile-long, existing, well-run, very well-run, and increasingly popular commuter rail line. It needs a 1.3-mile extension to complete the project, which, as you heard, has been talked about since the early part of last century. With Silicon Valley to the south and downtown San Francisco to the north, and many important destinations in between, it's pretty obvious that this will be a huge benefit to the peninsula, to the West Bay, to San Francisco, and the entire region.
Well, I will admit that I did start it. I thought it was ridiculous that people would have to come in on Caltrain and then spend 30 minutes or more getting to their job down on Market Street.